We're live for about 30 minutes. Then I'm getting in the. I'm already in the bed. I'm gonna go to sleep. Rest my eyes. Get up at noon and go to work. Slave away. Y'all crack me up the way you talk about work and everything. I'm telling you. It's your mind. The mind. Until you fix your mind, your life is not going to get any better. You're not going to be any happier. Until you just stop being, you gotta stop being miserable. Y'all are so miserable. I feel sorry for you. Used to be just like you. Miserable. Miserable. It's crazy. Like, I'll be on Twitter. You ever go to Twitter? I'll tell you what to do today when you get a chance. And you're scrolling down the little Twitter timeline. You're looking at the tweets. Find a tweet. You know, maybe like a tweet about Hulk Hogan or something. Like, it was his birthday the other day. People were saying happy birthday to him. Find a tweet like that. Just a nice tweet, right? Some nice guy makes a nice tweet and he says, happy birthday, Hogan. And that's all he says, right? Put a little picture of Hogan there. Nice thing, right? A nice thing. People see it, they go, oh, that's nice. But I want you to click on the tweet, and I want you to go under that tweet, and I want you to read the comments. And you're going to see a lot of comments. You're going to see people saying, oh, rest in peace. You know, you're going to see a lot of nice people. Normal, nice people that aren't miserable. But as you scroll through, you're gonna easily find the miserable people because they're going to be in there talking shit. They're going to say things like, a racist died, who gives a fuck? These people are miserable. Don't you realize that? They're worse than an actual racist. They're just as bad because an actual racist would be saying some shitty crap too in the comments. Anybody making some shit. Sometimes it's okay to make a shitty comment, right? When somebody does some shitty thing. But a man is dead. First of all, whether you agree or disagree with what he said, that was like 15 fucking years ago. And he's dead. And some guys just wishing him a happy birthday. Maybe you could just scroll on past. You don't have to leave a comment and tell us how much you hate this dead guy. And then people say, well, he's so evil. First of all, he didn't kill nobody. He didn't rape nobody. He didn't molest no child. The man says some shit you didn't like. He says some racist shit. So what? I'm sure you've said some shit that a lot of us, if we heard it, we wouldn't like it either. Now, fortunately for you, you're not famous and no one has a hidden audio recorder in your house, you know, filming your every word without you knowing it. This is why you got to be the person you are in public that you are in private. Then nobody can get you with. If you got a hidden recording of me, it would just sound like a stream because I say the same goddamn shit. I don't have no reason to get on here and fucking act differently. That's how you get yourself into trouble. Then somebody got a hidden camera on you and you're saying different things. And people are like, what the fuck is all this? But people like to do that. They like to be fake. But I guess you could understand why you wouldn't go on a racist rant on camera and you would do it in your house in private. But let it go already. Get a life. You know how miserable your life's got to be to see happy birthday Hogan and you just have to stop and leave a shitty comment. You have to. You got nothing better to do with your day but get on there and be a miserable motherfucker. You're miserable. I seen another tweet. Had 4 pictures. Had a picture of Dean Cain, Superman Dean Cain. Had a picture of Wonder Woman, Gail, whatever her name is. Had the dude that played the Flash, the pedophile guy. And it had some other guy. Can't remember who he was, but he wasn't some evil motherfucker, right? Just some actor or whatever. And the dude was like, the Flash guy is the only person who's not evil in these pictures. Like, Dean Cain hasn't done anything to anybody. Dean Cain didn't rape a child. Dean Cain didn't do none of that. You understand? He didn't do none of that. But he's evil because he got a job with ICE. And he's going to help ICE round up illegals and deport them out of our country. It's so evil. There's nothing evil about that. There's nothing evil about deporting illegal aliens. You do realize that. There's nothing evil about it. You're not a bad person for doing it. You're not a bad person for wanting it done either. And what is Gail Debach? She's fucking, she's Israeli, so that makes her evil because she's Israeli. You see you see the hatred? You see, I refuse to fall into that trap. You ain't sucking me into that fucking Jew-hating horseshit. And the Jews are weird. I watched a video last night, the Jews and all the weird shit they do, all that shit they do to try to fool God. It's weird as fuck. I'll make fun of the Jews all day, but there's a difference between making fun of people and hating people. Y'all hate people. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate liberals. I don't hate any of these people. I don't even hate Joe Biden. I kind of like Joe Biden. But if they do something bad, they do something bad. You call it out. Don't mean I hate them. I'm nothing like you people. The older I get, the more I realize I'm nothing like anybody around me. I'm nothing like these people on the internet. I'm nothing like any of you. I'm a rare type of guy. I don't care that you say the N-word in your house. I don't care if you said the N-word to a black. I don't give a shit what you do. I don't care if you call a white person a cracker. I don't care about any of that stuff. As long as you're not breaking into people's homes or beating up black people, you know what I'm saying? Burning crosses in their yard or whatever. I don't give a shit that you're racist and you go home and you're racist in your house. And then black people come knock on your door and you're like, get them black people out of here. I don't care. It's a free fucking country. You don't have to be around black people. You don't got to be around white people. You don't got to be around Asian people. You can go move wherever the fuck you want to move. You can decide who your friends are. Remember that horse shit? Everybody was like freaking out about, look at this picture. Not a single black person in this picture. Of course, when there's a picture of a bunch of black people, nobody ever says, God, no white people in this picture. You know why? Because white people don't even think like that. White people don't give a shit about none of that. White people don't care that a bunch of black people got together and took a picture and didn't invite no white people. We don't give a shit. We really don't give a fuck. We don't even think like that. White people don't even think like that. But I tell you this. White people starting to think like that. Now why? Because of you motherfuckers and your mouth. One thing I've noticed over the last 10 years is everybody and the struggles they face and all their failures and everything that happens to them, 9 times out of 10 times is their own fault. It's your own fucking fault. Gay people worried about losing their right to get married. Now, whose fault is that? It ain't mine. It ain't yours. It's their fault. They went crazy, started pushing all this crazy shit. We gave them the right to marry. We supported them. We all agreed. We said, fine, go ahead. Nobody cared. We was arguing with the bigots. We was telling the bigots to leave them alone. Remember that? That was just 10 years ago, by the way. Just 10 years ago, most of us was just saying, hey, stop being a bigot. Leave the gay people alone. Let them be gay. Let them get married. Who cares? Now, 10 years later, every one of us is like, man, fuck all these gay people. I don't even care if they get rid of gay. I literally don't care if they got rid of gay. I don't care. Why don't I care? Because you're insufferable and you went too far. You went too fucking far. And the whole time you was going too far, I told you stop. I told you it's going to end badly for you. I said they're going to take gay marriage away. They're going to take it away. You got to be real goddamn dumb to have gay marriage, right? You campaign for it, you push for it, and then while you're pushing for it, you're campaigning for it, You got all these people, they're saying, hey, you don't want to do that because if you do that, they'll start going after children. They'll be pushing trans shit. They'll be doing all this stuff. And then you said, nah. I used to argue with people all the time. Nah, they're not going to do that. Well, they did that. They literally did what I said they wouldn't do. So they made a fool of me. So I don't care. So now I don't care. Fend for yourself. I had your back. I was on your side. And you made a fool of me. And then when I said, hey, man, this stuff ain't really cool, what you're doing with the children, you was like, you called me a bigot. You called me a homophobe. So now you can go fuck yourself. Now you can fight your own goddamn battles, and you don't expect me to be on the battlefield with you. Don't expect me to fend for you. Fuck you. I'm a homophobe now. Because I told you to leave children alone, I'm a homophobe. Because I said, hey, they kept telling me all this, what about a gay child? And I started thinking, what the fuck is a gay child? How can a child be fucking gay? They're talking about, and we're not talking about teenagers in high school. We're talking about kids in elementary school are gay. They said that. We're not talking about a 16-year-old being gay. 16-year-olds, yes, they have sexual thoughts. Yes, they date each other. Of course. We've all been teenagers. So maybe I could wrap my head around you saying, talking about a gay teenager. But when you start talking about gay 5-year-olds, we got a real problem. Gay babies. Gay infants. Well, you lose me on that. Because there's no such thing as a gay baby, gay 5-year-old. 5-year-olds don't have sexual thoughts, guy. And if they are having them, then we got a problem. That means there's an adult in their life pushing that on them. And everyone to act like we're stupid. We can't notice that. We're just all stupid. Nobody's stupid. We know when motherfuckers are being weird. We know with some weird shit going on. Why is your 5-year-old coming out as trans? That's weird. Because no 5-year-old came up with that shit on their own. Let me tell you that right now. Listen, I understand a lot of you don't have children. You've never raised children, but I have. And let me tell you, 5-year-olds don't. That's not something your child says to you. So anytime these people want to tell you that their 5-year-old or 4-year-old told them they're trans, they made that up, bro. Because that's not how little kids act. And even if a little kid came up to you and said, I'm a girl, and they were a boy, it's a 5-year-old. That you don't feed into that delusion. That's insane. That doesn't make sense. But they mind fuck you. The medical community, college community, all these people who get so bent out of shape now that nobody trusts them, nobody listens to them. Well, maybe calling everybody fucking stupid all the time was a bad idea. Maybe calling everybody a bunch of dumb motherfuckers isn't the best way to sway them to your side. Just a thought. Just a thought. I hear all the time how, oh, you lack empathy. And no, I guarantee I have more empathy than you. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Because I read y'all's tweets. You have no empathy. If you don't have empathy for your enemy, so-called enemy, you don't have none at all. Don't you realize that? It's easy to have empathy for your friend. It's easy to be like, oh, my poor mother or something. If you have no empathy or understanding for people you don't like, you don't have any at all. We ain't gonna realize that. We ain't gonna come to terms with that. And by the way, empathy used against you. You have empathy. Oh, the poor children, the poor children. And then they use it against you. Well, I think we should secure the border. What about the children? Oh my God. Well, we're protecting children. They're getting trafficked over the border. Yeah, but if you deport their parents, what about the children? The children don't have to go home with the parents. I don't even understand that argument. What about the children? What about the families? I mean, we're all supposed to play dumb. We're all just supposed to act like fucking retards. I'm not a retard. So I'm not playing along with it. You are retarded. And no matter how many times you try to convince me I am, I'm not buying it because I listen to you. I hear you talk and you're retarded as hell. Imagine it. You listen to a guy talk and you go, this guy's retarded. And then you're supposed to listen to him lecture you and you're supposed to take him serious and you're supposed to feel bad about yourself. But he's retarded. That's the problem people run into with me. First of all, I don't value your opinion. I don't give a fuck if you don't like me. I don't give a fuck if you quit watching my stream. I don't give a fuck. I give even less of a fuck now because I don't need this stream to pay my bills. So I don't care. I don't need to be here. So I don't need to kiss nobody's ass. I don't need to tell you what you want to hear so you feel better. I'll tell you what you need to hear. Some of you need to get your fucking head out of your ass. It's like every day first of all, every day I gotta see a fucking video. I know you've seen them too. I gotta see a video on social media where some woman is sitting. It's usually a woman. Sometimes it's a beta male guy, but usually it's a woman. It's even worse when it's a guy, quite frankly. But it's somebody in their car having a nervous breakdown because they gotta go to work. I gotta go to work. I don't want to, but I got to. What do you want? What are you gonna do about it? I gotta get up later and go to work. That's part of life. Get over it. Imagine cry. I've never cried. I ain't never got up for work and cried and said, oh, God, is this all life is? If I got to hear another person say something like that, I swear to God, is this all life is? We just go to work and come home. Is this all life is? You don't understand how fucked we are as a society. I don't think you all realize, as a society, how fucked we really are. Because you got your head up your ass just like everybody else. Allow me to pull it out for you. If these fucking mind-fucked retards don't grow up and go to work and suck it up, our society's going to fucking collapse. Don't you realize that? Am I the only one that realizes this? Am I the only one that realizes we all have a role to play in life? We have a role. And you choose your role. Now, I know what you're going to say. I didn't choose to work at the McDonald's. Yes, you did, motherfucker. Yes, you did. Ever remember when you was in school and a teacher looked at you and said, you really need to focus on this stuff because, you're going to have to work at McDonald's or something when you grow up. You don't want to do that. Now, when teachers would tell me that, I would think, I actually don't mind working a normal job and just having a normal life. That's fine with me. I don't really like studying, and I like studying, but I don't like studying stuff that I don't have any interest in, right? If I'm interested in it, I could study it all day, learn about it all day. But if I have no interest in it, I don't want to study it. I literally don't care, and I can't even force myself to do it. I don't care. That's just how my brain works. So if I got to choose between going to all this college and doing all these things and just getting a job and just having a normal life, I'm going to choose get a job, have the normal life. And that's what I chose with my life. Right out of school, that's what I wanted to do. Let's just go to work. Fuck all this bullshit. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a lawyer. You know what I mean? I didn't have anything I wanted to do, so why would I go to college? And then people tell me, well, you go to college and you just figure it out while you're there. I'm thinking, well, I'm going to take a loan out and go to college. I don't even have a plan. I don't even have a plan for what I want to learn about. That's stupid, bro. That's dumb. So now I'm in debt and I got a bunch of knowledge that it's not even useful. Can't do nothing with it. You know how many people do that? You know how many people go into college, they don't even have a fucking major. They don't even know what they're going to do. They just go. And those are the people that are learning about the lyrics of Kendrick Lamar or some dumb shit like that. I seen something the other day. They were teaching a college course on Kendrick Lamar. No offense to Kendrick Lamar, but what the fuck is the point of that? You're in college and you're in debt, bro. You're in debt to go to college. You took out a loan and put yourself in debt. and the interest payments. It's just insane. Some of these videos I see, these people talking about their payments and their interest, and it's insane. It's like tens of thousands of dollars down the drain. And a lot of these people in the videos are like, I have a degree, but I can't even find a job. Nobody will hire me. And I'm like, what the fuck's the point? And all these people in all these videos are like, you just can't find a job. And I'm thinking, every place I see is hiring. What are you talking about? But I understand they think they're better than that. They don't have to work at McDonald's. They don't have to work at Burger King. They don't have to work at Walmart. They're better than you. So sit in your car and cry about your useless fucking degree and go work at Starbucks when you finally suck it the fuck up and you realize that you're just going to have to go work at fucking Starbucks because you have a useless fucking degree that means nothing. And that's your fault. It's not my fault. It's your fault. You know how many people should have never went to college and should have just went? Because people they cannot accept who they are as a person. They can't do it. I knew if I knew that I would never go to college, hell, I'll hate that. I don't want to study and do all these exams, and I just did that. I'm finally out of school. I don't want to go back. Fuck that. Work and school is not even close to the same thing. Not even close. I'd much rather be at work where you have a little bit of freedom. School's like a goddamn prison or something. I mean, I remember you used to have some teachers, they tell you when you go take a piss. Some of these teachers on a power trip, they'll tell you when. And sometimes a kid will piss himself. You ever had a kid piss herself in class because you had one of these goofy teachers, wouldn't let you go piss or whatever, and then a kid would piss himself, and then the parents would come in pissed as a motherfucker, and rightfully so. Now my kid pissed all over himself. I had to come to school, deal with your retarded ass because you couldn't let him go take a piss. And they're like, well, they're playing in the bathroom. Well, escort him to the bathroom, let him piss, and escort him back. Is this so fucking hard? Power trip. Teachers on a power trip. Most of them need to be fired too. They fucking dumb teachers. I mean, we saw them show their ass during COVID. What a mess that was. The teachers. Aren't you tired of hearing about the teachers? Oh, praise the teachers. We got some of the dumbest people on the face of the earth, according to statistics, if you believe that. I'm skeptical on that. Oh, China's got so much, they're so much smarter, and they got this, and their buildings. Every time I see that shit, I'm like, propaganda. Look at these buildings with lights on it. Oh my God, why is China in the future and we're in the past? As if putting LED lights and video screens on the side of a skyscraper is some revolutionary shit. As if we couldn't do the same fucking thing. Let me ask you this. Why do we want that? Why do we want we need less light pollution, not more of it. Turn the fucking lights off, then you could see the stars at night. You could see the galaxy and shit. But you can't see that because you gotta have all these fucking buildings lit up like a fucking Christmas tree all the time. And how you can't turn the lights off because there's too many fucking lunatics roaming the country to kill you. You gotta have the lights on. Hell, we probably need more lights. God forbid Trump send the National Guard in. God forbid that you could walk down the street and not get hit in the back of the head. God forbid. And they're like, there's not a crime problem. In New York, there's not a crime problem. A motherfucker was set on fire on the subway. For no reason at all. Just a guy was taking a nap. Just some woman was sleeping on the subway taking a nap. And some dude was just like, I'm going to light her on fire. For no, it wasn't like, there was like an altercation and she was like saying something and it would still be fucked up, but at least maybe you could understand like, oh, damn, she said this and then he lost his mind, lit her on fire. No. She didn't even say nothing. She didn't even know him. She was asleep. He just walked up, lit her on fire. And then as she was standing there, lit on fire, people was just filming it. Nobody was like, get a fire extinguisher, get some water. People just filming it. Just staring at it. People pull their phone out like, this will make great content. I'll get some views off this. That's all people care about. Everyone wants to be fucking famous. Well, take it from a guy who could have been famous. Who gives a shit about being famous? Who wants that headache? Not me. I like going outside. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. God, people be coming up to you, asking you questions. People be outside your house, filming your house and shit. People out of their fucking minds. Y'all so desperate for it, though. I gotta go viral. I'll film this woman burning to death and I'll go viral. And what's funny is you're not even going viral for yourself. You just filmed some crazy shit. And then people watched it and they didn't. Nobody ever said, I wonder who filmed that. Nobody ever said that, right? They just went, oh, that's crazy, and moved on with their day. They didn't go, God, who's the man that filmed that great content that we saw? Who filmed that? Nobody cares who filmed it. Put your phone away. Put your phone away to help this poor woman who's burning to death. She's on fire. She's on fucking fire, and you're standing there filming it. It's insanity. Speaking of being on fire, remember that guy who lit himself on fire for Palestine or some shit? What a fucking miserable clown. See, that's what you get into this propaganda about Palestine, you'll light yourself on fire too. Think of the children, the starving children. The starving children. I don't even know if I believe that. Sorry, I don't know if I believe in the starving children. I don't know if I believe any of this propaganda that I keep hearing out of Palestine. It's weird. Every time I look into this stuff, and I usually don't care about any of this, but sometimes I'll see you guys going on and on about something Israel did, and I'll go, let's look into this and see. Let's see what's going on. And what I've noticed is y'all lie a lot. Y'all be making crazy shit up. Like, all I heard the other day, well, they killed some journalist. Some journalist killed. Now, today I see that this journalist was stepping on, he's got pictures of himself standing on dead IDF soldiers. He's just standing on their heads and shit. He took pictures of it, put it on the internet. That's the guy they killed. Now, does that seem like something a journalist does? I don't know. Let me run a theory by you. I know it might sound a little crazy, but just hear me out on this. What if Hamas is a terrorist organization that uses propaganda to get you to side with them against the country that's fucking them up because it's the only option they got? Is that a plausible theory? Can you wrap your head around that? That could be a possibility. That you, and I know you're a genius. I understand you guys are really smart. You do all your little research. But is it possible that you fall for propaganda just like people fall for Israeli propaganda? Is it possible that there's propaganda that comes from the other direction? Do you ever think about that? Have you ever thought when you saw a story about Israel? Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a story about Israel, a negative story, and have you ever thought, is this true? Have you ever thought, let me look into this? Or did you just go, fucking Israel, evil? Do you understand the brainwashing? You understand you're getting psyoped all the time from all... Israel's doing it to you too. Don't get me wrong. Israel's doing the same thing to you. But some of you are so hyper-focused on Israel that you don't even realize that the people they're at war with are using propaganda against you too. They both do it. It's a war. When you have a war, you have propaganda from both sides. That's just the way it goes. You cannot take either. You cannot just take whatever you hear and just believe it. You literally have to go fact check the shit. But much like Trump derangement syndrome, if you just have this weird hyperfixation on Israel, any negative thing you hear about Israel, you're not even going to question it. I question everything I hear about anything. I don't believe anything until I see some real fucking proof of it. Unless it just makes sense. Unless I hear it and I just go, yeah, that makes sense. But if I hear something, it's like, oh, they killed some journalist. And I go, Well, was he actually a journalist, or is the media just saying that to me? And why do all these leftists and these leftist medias and the Democratic Party, why do they want me to hate Israel? These people are no friend to me, these Democrats, and now they want me to hate Israel. It's weird. And I'm just supposed to hate them. I don't like them or hate them. I'm indifferent to them. I don't care. I think we should stop giving them money. And I think a lot of you should stop focusing on them. It's just a country in the Middle East, and you're like so into it. They rule the world. They control everything. It's like, calm down. I seen a guy the other day on Twitter saying Jews are dumb. Like Jews could never do this and they could never do that. But at the same time, he's telling me Jews run the world. You got to pick. And you know what it reminds me of? Trump. It's the same thing I noticed about Trump. Is the leftists would tell me Trump's an idiot. He's a retard. He's so dumb. But he's also a fucking mastermind. And he's taken the country over. And he, you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Like, it can't be both. He can't be retarded and a mastermind. Can't be both. You got to pick one. Israel cannot rule the world and be a bunch of dumb fucks. Bunch of dumb Jewish fucks. You can't have it both ways. And I listen to you people. I hear you out. And so I'm not like everybody else who just goes, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that. I listen to you. And I hear out your theories. And then I have questions. And this is all I ever do. If you ever watch my streams, you'll notice I just ask people questions. And they can't answer them. Or they get mad at me and they start insulting me. And that right there is a red flag. That's a dead giveaway that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you're talking out of your ass. Because if you knew what you were talking about and you truly felt that I was just clueless, I just didn't know, you would just explain it to me. And you'd have all the evidence and all the facts. And by the end of the conversation, you would have me convinced. But you can't do it because you don't have any of that on your side. It's like the Epstein stuff. You ask these motherfuckers, well, if Trump's a pedophile, why didn't Joe Biden release that information? Well, why are you defending Trump? Why are you making excuses for Trump? I asked you a question, like, why didn't Joe Biden release it? It's a simple question. Just answer it. Quick and emotional. Y'all get so emotional. It's like yesterday talking about accounting and AI. They were so fucking emotional. Because someone said AI is probably going to take your job. What a concept. What an idea that AI is going to take our jobs. It's just what we're told every day. And we hear it all the time. And then you got to listen to someone seriously tell you AI can't do my job. You're going to be hearing a lot of that over the next 10 years. AI can't do my job. And then AI is going to take their job and they're going to be coping heavy. The AI shit's going to get wild. It's going to get crazy. And you better hope it just takes your job and not your life. Take it all. Put you in a slave camp. Put you in a Matrix battery pod and use you to power their fucking... They're like, we're building nuclear reactors. They're building nuclear reactors just to power the AI servers. You realize that? They're going to build look it up. They're going to build nuclear reactors. And the nuclear reactor is not going to be used to power your house or anything. It's going to be used specifically and solely to power the AI. That's how much power the AI needs. And they feel like if they can give the AI more power, it makes it stronger. So they just got to keep giving it more power, more power, more power. Now, when you listen to the experts talk about this, there's two different groups. There's a group that says, oh, it's going to be great, utopia, blah, blah, blah. End of the world, Terminator. You got two groups, okay? So, We're either going to live under a utopia, AI does all the jobs, and we just lay around and play fucking video games all day and just lounge around because robots and AI just do everything. They grow the food, they make the food, they do everything. So we don't even have to work anymore. But it's not going to be able to count your numbers and do your accounting. It's just not going to be able to do that. Or it's going to become a Terminator and enslave the planet. But even though it can enslave the planet, it can't do your accounting. You see how stupid that is? That doesn't make sense to me. Now, if you said to me, Smokey, I don't believe that AI is going to get that powerful, so I don't believe it's going to take a lot of jobs, or I just don't buy that narrative. Okay, that's fine. But that's not what they say to me. They go, you know, the fuck you're I'm saying totally plausible shit that all the experts say. And usually these people are all about the experts, but not on this one. Because it's personal. You're talking about them losing their job. They went to college. They put a lot of work into getting this job. And you're talking about the AI taking it. So now it's personal. Now they're emotional. And you're just having a conversation and they're getting emotional. And now suddenly, you just think you know everything. You can't even have conversations with these people. Because they can't just go, well, that's your opinion and you're allowed to have it. No. No, you just think you're right about everything. It's an opinion. It's an opinion. By the way, I usually am right. I don't know if you've noticed, but I usually am right about everything. I'm supposed to pretend I'm not, though. I'm supposed to live in a fantasy world where I don't say things and they come true. I just, Remember in 2014 when I told you I made a little video and I said, these virus labs where they make the viruses and fuck with the viruses, this is a bad idea. These viruses, it's going to leak out of the lab and it's going to cause problems. Well, it happened. If you believe that. But that's what they say. First they say it came from a wet market. Now we all know it came from a lab, but I don't even know if I believe that. It definitely came out of a lab, but was it leaked? Or was it purpose? I'm starting to lean more to it was purposely released. It sure does seem like to stop Trump. I know that sounds crazy, but that is what ended the Trump presidency was COVID. And it's weird how after Trump left, it did kind of just fade away. After they pushed the vaccine on us and made all that money off that, then they were kind of done with that, so they just kind of moved on. Your whole life is disrupted for like a year and a half, and they just went, oh, it's over now. And some people are still in a panic about it. They're still freaking out about it every day. They're still worried about COVID. Crazy, huh? 5 years later, they're panicking, putting masks on. I seen some woman, she was like, it's the 12th wave. We're in the 12th wave right now. People don't realize it. They're in danger. I'm just like, bitch, what are you talking about? I'm more worried about a tick biting me and getting Lyme disease than I am fucking COVID. I'm more worried about a mosquito giving me West Nile virus than I am about fucking COVID. And I'm not worried about either of those things, but I'm more worried about them than COVID. Meanwhile, some people can't even go to the grocery store and buy groceries without putting a mask on. It's insane. Now, I was told there's no difference between the left and the right. I was told that about an hour ago. And yet I could sit here and list 100 different reasons why they are different. I could list 100 examples, probably more, of the differences between the left and the right. It's funny to me when you encounter someone that has the beliefs that you used to have, and you see these people. And you say, how did I ever believe that shit? Well, I was uninformed. That's the only answer. I didn't know what I know now. And what I know now is, well, that's just... Knowing what I know now, I can't believe that stuff because it doesn't mesh with the things I know now. So how could I believe it? Once you learn... I get a lot of you are stubborn, but I'm not. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I just get on with life. There's no use in sitting there, when you're clearly wrong, it's just move on. But some of you can't move on. Can't accept it. Trust me, I was watching Alex Jones and David Icke when I was in high school. I know all about that stuff. I know all about those talking points. I know all about all that, all those conspiracy theories and all that stuff. I know the ins and outs of every single one of them. But as I get older, I start to realize maybe some of that stuff ain't true. Or maybe some of it's true and some of it ain't. And, you know, maybe people get a little too caught up in some of this stuff sometimes. And that doesn't mean that there ain't some truth in these theories, but they get a little off in the weeds with the theories. Like there's some truth to it, and then they spiral into so much more that they can't prove. So you might have a little bit of stuff you can prove, and then you go off into this fantasy world of other things that you think are happening, but you have no proof that it's happening. And at some point, you got to ask yourself, some point you got to look in the mirror and you got to question your own beliefs. And until you can do that, I don't want to hear from you. Until you can question your own beliefs. Question yourself. Instead of arguing with everybody else, argue with yourself. Most of y'all do that. Y'all do that all the time anyway. If I had $1 for every time I'm arguing with somebody, and about halfway through I go, this guy is not even arguing with me, he's arguing with his head. They'll say shit to me I didn't even say. I'll be like, who the fuck said that? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Weird behavior. It's destroying our planet too. It's destroying our world. The biggest problem in this world right now, it's not the rich. It's not the global elites. It's not Trump. It's not the Democrats. I'll tell you what it is. Accountability. Lack of gratefulness from a bunch of fucking retards who don't know how good they got it. That's what the problem we face as a society. A bunch of people who don't think they should have to work like everybody else. A bunch of people who think going to their job is comparable to being a slave. That is our enemy. Your enemy is not the rich. Your enemy is not the government. Your enemy is your own sick mind telling yourself all these lies. And that may not make sense to you now, but one day it might make sense. And you'll be better off when it makes sense. Because you won't be a mindfuck retard anymore. Y'all listen to all these fucking shows, and I listen to a lot of them too, but they get you all so hopeless, so defeated. And I'm tired of that. It's like Little Nick. That's why I don't like Little Nick, because he's entertaining, he's funny, but he is such a defeatist. He's so miserable and so hopeless. And I reject that. That's all bullshit. That's how they keep you held down. When you sit all day and feel like you can't get ahead, there's nothing you can do. Your life will never change. It'll always be the same. It'll just, you can't become rich if you wanted to. Yeah, you can. Every one of you could become rich if you actually wanted to. But here's the reality. You don't want to be rich. You really don't. Now, I know you may think you do, but trust me, you don't want to be rich. If you wanted to be rich, you'd be working your ass off 24/7 to achieve that goal. Andrew Tate talks about this all the time, and he's dead right about it. He made a video the other day. He said, what Jew came to your house and stopped you from going to the gym? What Jew made you watch pornography? Not a single Jew did. You chose these things. You chose to not go to the gym. You chose to jerk off to the pornography. And you choose to go to work your 8 hours, get off work, come home, play the video game, or watch a movie, or whatever you do. Go to the club, or whatever the fuck you do. You chose that. And let me tell you something right now. Rich people, a lot of them used to be broke just like you. and they worked their ass off and got rich. Now, I know you've bought into the fantasy that every rich person's evil and every rich person fucked everybody over and that's how they made their money, but that's not every rich person, guy. Don't you realize that's a defeatist attitude that's been programmed into you by a bunch of evil cocksuckers who want you to just sit there and be poor for the rest of your life and have nothing and not appreciate anything either? Yeah, maybe you're not going to be rich, but you can still have a decent life. You don't have to be a multimillionaire to be happy. Quit believing this horseshit. You don't have to have a bunch of money to not be miserable. Look at Parr. He got all this money, miserable. He's so damn miserable. So clearly money does not solve the problem of the misery and the loneliness. It doesn't solve it. And I'm tired of people talking about how broke they are while they do drugs and drink and eat out and buy games and buy movies and all kinds of shit, clothes and shoes. Do you understand that if you can go out and buy drugs, you ain't that goddamn broke? Now, you might be broke after you buy the drugs. You might have no money until the next paycheck. Whose fault is that? It's your fault for buying the goddamn drugs or the game or you went out and bought a pizza. Where the fuck you did? You spent the money, it's gone, and then you get mad at Elon. You're sitting there broke because you spent your money on whatever stupid bullshit, and now you're mad at Elon. Why does he have all that money and I don't? Did you create SpaceX? Did you create PayPal? Did you create anything? Have you done anything to deserve billions of dollars? No, you haven't. You ain't done a damn thing. Stop being mad that people just like you, human being just like you, with the same amount of hours in the day, decided to do something with their life while you decided to go to your job, work, come home, and play fucking COD. That's why you're broke. That's why you ain't got billions of dollars, because you come home from work and play COD. And a motherfucker that wants to be rich comes home from work and goes to their second job or works on their business that they're doing in their spare time or whatever the fuck they're doing. You ain't doing that. You ain't got a full-time job with a business on the side that you're trying to grow. You ain't doing that. And then you see another guy doing that, you're mad at him. And then you say, well, his daddy must have gave him money. Or it must be nice to have that time. You got the same amount of time. You could come home from work and you could be working on a project to make more money. You could be doing that. You ain't doing that. You ain't doing a damn thing. I could come home from work and spend all night working on making more money, but I don't. Why? Because I don't want to. Because I worked all fucking day and I want to come home and just chill. I don't want to fucking work more. That's a choice. So when I don't have a bunch of extra money, well, whose fault is that? Mine. Not Elon Musk. The fuck? And by the way, if the government took Elon's money, first of all, you wouldn't see a penny of it, and it wouldn't improve a damn thing. They'd waste it. They'd launder it. Grow up and get a fucking clue. Good Lord. Rich people are holding me back. I seen some dude, what did he say the other day? Oh, he's talking about food stamps. You're so mad. First of all, I'm not mad. That's not the right word. You're so mad that people are buying ice cream and cookies and soda with food stamps. No, I'm not mad about it. I don't sit around my house angry about that. But when I see it and I think about it for 5 minutes, I think, yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I don't blame you for doing it because you can. I'm just saying, maybe it's probably not the best idea. I mean, We're literally giving people free money to buy junk food and get fat and sick. And then somebody says, well, we're going to make it so they can only buy like meat and vegetables and milk and things, food, actual food, not junk food, just food. Hamburger meat and shit like that. You could buy a steak. These people could go, think about how dumb these people are. They could still go buy a steak at the store and go home and cook a fucking steak. But then they want to sit there and act like, oh God, I can't buy cooked Chips Ahoy cookies. Oh, I'm being oppressed. You can go buy a steak dinner and the taxpayer pays for it. What more do you want, guy? That's not enough? And let me tell you what you're going to do. And here's a warning for you. Maybe you should heed my warnings, since usually y'all don't and you end up paying a price. If you keep on bitching and moaning about the fact that you won't be able to buy soda with the food stamps, and you keep making these faggot little videos crying about how you can't buy this and you can't buy that with the free money you get from the government, let me tell you what's going to happen. I want you to take a look at the gay community. I want you to take a look at the black community and see the problem they face right now. The gay people's tired of them. The blacks, people's getting tired of their bullshit too. They're going to get tired of your bullshit too. You better quit making those videos. You better take your food stamps, go buy your hamburger meat and your steak, and be happy. Go buy you some french fries or some potatoes or something. You can have a whole damn meal. Buy some rolls and you could be like, yeah, Texas Roadhouse in your house. You could buy some rolls. You could get the butter. Nobody feels sorry for you that you can only go buy steak and eggs and stuff with your goddamn food stamps. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, you gotta have steak again tonight on the taxpayer? You poor thing. Oh, God. We won't let him have a fudge strike. Let that man have a fudge gram. And everything I just said is dead on. It's right. And I know it is, because when you argue with people about this, here's the next thing they throw at you. After you say all that to them, they go, well, what about a parent who can't buy their child a birthday cake on their birthday? Let me tell you something. If you cannot afford to buy your child a birthday cake out of your paycheck, you're a fucking loser is what you are. You're a fucking loser. I guarantee you bought weed or whatever drug you do. Guarantee you went out and bought McDonald's, or I guarantee if we looked at your budget, here's a great TV show. People cry about the food stamps. They cry about how they don't have enough money to feed themselves, and then we break their budget down. I think there's a show like that already, matter of fact. The guy that breaks the budgets down. And he always breaks the budget down, and there's always a bunch. You ever notice? There's always a bunch of bullshit in it. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed these people come on these shows and go, I'm just so broke, I don't know what to do. And then the guy goes, let's see here. Let's look at your budget here. Seeing a lot of DoorDash. That's the first thing that's popping out to me, a lot of DoorDash orders. It's an expensive habit. Because you're paying, every time you order DoorDash, you're paying double what you would pay if you just got in your car and went and bought it at the store. If you went to McDonald's and bought the McDonald's, it would be half of what it costs to have it DoorDash. That's just the way it is. You're paying for the convenience of not going. Now, you're a poor person. You can't afford no damn convenience. You can't afford. That's why I deleted the apps off my phone. You cannot afford the convenience. I don't even eat out anymore. Like maybe once. The only time I ever eat out anymore is when my girlfriend comes over. She's the one that convinced me to stop eating out so much. And now I only do it when she comes over. It's weird. Like when she comes over, she wants to go do it. But when it's just me, I don't eat out anymore. I just eat at home. I just buy groceries now. Imagine that. Now, I could have just kept doing what I was doing, and then I could have just kept crying about Elon. I could have said, fuck, I'm broke. Fucking Elon. Why's he got all that money? But what good would that have done me? Nothing. That didn't have solved any problems. Elon ain't going to show up with a check. The government ain't going to take Elon's money and hand it to me. Until the people of this country take a little bit of accountability for their own mistakes in their life, nothing's ever going to change in this country. It's never going to get any better with these people. I see it every day. That's the problem in the country. All this other shit they say, I mean, yeah, the border and all that, of course. But the problems facing a lot of these Americans, ungrateful. Americans don't even know how good they got it. You don't even know how good you got it. You got a computer in your pocket. You got a job. You got food. What do you got a place to live. People mad about that? It's just not good enough. Why don't I have a mansion? Why don't I have a yacht? Well, because you get off work and play the game. That's what you do after work. You play the game. How are you going to get rich playing the game? I'm going to become there's another problem, y'all. Y'all chase these gay-ass dreams you have. Oh, I'm going to be a streamer. No, you're not. You're a boring loser. You're not going to be a streamer. You're not going to make gaming video. Who the fuck even watches that? Nobody wants to watch you play COD. Nobody cares. You're not going to become a COD streamer. You know how hard that is? First of all, you got to be good at the game. You got to be so good that people watch and go, this guy's going nuts and killing everybody. You're not even that good. Why would I watch you when I could watch this other guy? He's good. And there's already so many good players, and they're already streaming. They're already making videos. It's an oversaturated market. Crush those gay dreams. Throw them in the dumpster and go get a job. I told that to some retard one night, and he was like, well, you could have done it. Well, you're not me, guy. You're not me. Just because I can do something don't mean you can do it. And no, I could have never been a COD streamer, retard. And you damn sure can't play COD for a view. How about stop trying to be a fucking YouTuber and go get a job? And just do YouTube on the side. How about that? Good grief. I seen a poll a couple months ago. It was like a majority of like Gen Z wants to be YouTubers or whatever. Like, that's not sustainable. Everybody can't be a YouTuber. Good grief. I mean, think about it logically. I'm actually good at it. And look how many views I got. And I'm good at it. You're not even good at it. Think about that. You see me, a guy that's actually good at it, and I don't have 1 million subs. What makes you think you're going to get 1 million subs? What the hell's wrong with you? Delusional. What's wrong with you? I'm drinking a yoo-hoo and then I'm going to bed. That alarm will be going off at noon. That alarm. Oh. I'm a slave. I'm a slave. I'm a slave because I have a job. What's the alternative, you know? Don't have a job and be poor and fucking live on the street. I mean, what's the alternative? Communism? Socialism? Fucking retards. Smokey, if you just vote for socialism, we don't have to work. Then you could stream all day. Oh, no. That's funny because when I was streaming all day and I was making a ton of money, who was the president? Trump. Imagine that. It was Trump. Ain't that correct? It wasn't a socialist guy. It was Trump. And then we got rid of Trump and everything went to shit. And now we got Trump back, and I'm like, hey, this time I'm going to let him do his thing, and I'm just going to shut up and let the man work. You ain't going to be hearing me criticizing his every move like a faggot. I've learned my lesson. Shit. The motherfucker was president. We was doing fine. The motherfucker loses. We get these Democrats. Everything goes to shit. Price of food skyrockets. We get a bunch of wars. All this crazy shit going on. And then Trump gets back in. I'm supposed to be fucking mad. I'm supposed to be bitching about Trump all day? For what? Thank God Trump won. Let me tell you this. Trump won the election. We don't have President Harris. That's enough for me. Anything that happens after that is just a bonus. You realize that? For me, it was just about stopping her. All this other stuff that he's done is just a pleasant surprise. We've already won. We don't have Kamala Harris as our president. Thank God. Imagine the fucking... a female president would be bad enough. But Kamala... oh, God. That's as bad as having Hillary. Because she's incompetent. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't belong in the position. Don't you understand? Lawyer. And she... shut up. Care that somebody was a fucking lawyer. She would make a terrible... she was a terrible... how are you going to be the president when you was a terrible vice president? It don't even make sense. That's like me being the dairy clerk, and then I do a terrible job every day, right? I do a shitty job, and then they promote me to run the department. That don't make no sense. You can't be a terrible vice president and then turn around and become the president. That's retarded. That would have been one of the most dumbest things in the history of our country. If one of the worst vice presidents we ever had became our president. How dumb would that be? The fact that she lost in a landslide it means the country's not lost. It means people still have sense. And I said this when Biden won. I said we're going to go through 4 years of suffering. But when we're going to come out the other end of it, the Democrats are going to be so unpopular, they're done. It's exactly what happened. They had a record low favorability rating in the Gallup poll. People love to talk about the Gallup poll when it's about Trump's approval rating. But then when you bring up the Democrats' approval rating, oh, God. Smokey, that don't matter. Well, if it don't matter for the Democrats, then why does it matter for Trump? By the way, these oversampled polls that are always meant to make Republicans look bad, try to fool you into thinking you're the minority in the country. You just won the election, majority, landslide, popular vote, everything, all 7 swing states. He won everything. And then they still trying to convince you you're just not the majority. No, I'm the majority. Sorry. You lost. I'm the majority now. And I said this 10 years ago. I said, I don't care how crazy I sound right now. It's only a matter of time till everybody sounds just like me. And every day we get closer to that reality where everybody just realizes I'm right. Everyone just realizes everything I've been saying right all along. But you're going to have to suffer to get there. You're going to have to go through the suffering to realize, goddamn, I can't do these Democrats no more. I can't go through this again. The hell? And maybe the country needs to suffer more. Maybe they need the Democrats back in the midterm so they can suffer a little bit more. We need checks and balances. Trump's out of control. We got to rein him in. The worst thing you could do for your future is to rein Trump in. Let Trump-a-mania run wild. Let Trump do his thing. It's too early to be criticizing. It's way too early for all this criticism. You got to let the man do his job. You got to let the man fix the mess. And it takes time. Everybody wanted instant results. Well, he's been in there 6 months. He ain't solved every problem caused by Democrats. Smokey, you know what that means? We're going to have to vote for Democrats now to teach him a lesson. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. This is what people say to you every day. They're like, Trump hasn't fixed all the problems that were caused by Democrats. We're going to vote Democrats. That's what we're going to do. What? Like, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone or something, listening to these people talk. What sense does that make? You're mad at a guy that he hasn't solved a problem that's caused by the people that you're talking about voting for now. Make that make sense. You can't, because you're retarded. And all I do is ask these questions. And instead of getting an answer, I'll be told, you're a Trump fanboy. That doesn't answer my question, guy. Whether or not I'm a Trump fanboy is irrelevant to the question that was asked. So hard about it. Like, it's never logical. It's never like, well, fuck Trump. He won't put out the Epstein list. I'm never voting again. I'm not voting for anybody. Fuck them all. No, it's always some insane bullshit like, I'll vote Democrats. The Democrats ain't releasing no Epstein list. And do you know how mentally ill you got to be for the Epstein shit to be your number one issue? That's what you vote on? When you voted for Trump in 2024, Epstein was at the top of the list of the things you cared about the most? No. It was the border. It was the economy. And we all just give up on Trump, throw him under the bus because you're not getting your way about Epstein. But wait a minute. I want the border secured. I want crime to go down. I want the guy to do his thing with the tariffs. How am I ever going to know if it works if we don't let him do it? Well, the experts said. The experts are always wrong. Why would I listen to them? I'm going to listen to this guy, let him do his thing. He got 4 years to do his thing. And if at the end of that 4 years, I look back and I go, he sucked. Well, lesson learned. But you're never going to learn the lesson if you don't go through it. I already gave the Democrats a chance. Gave them 4 fucking years. Look what they did. I'm supposed to sit here and pretend like they didn't fuck everything up? No, I'm not doing that. They fucked everything up. The Biden years were terrible. I mean, I remember arguing with people, and they couldn't even defend Biden, bro. These people had nothing. So now they try to gaslight and act like everything was fine. Please. Remember the Afghanistan shit? Like, there's so much shit that happened that if Trump did it, they'd lose their fucking minds. Well, if Joe Biden locked down Washington, D.C., you wouldn't agree with it. If Joe Biden came out and said there's crime, people are getting mugged and shit, I'm putting a stop to it, I would agree with him. But he didn't do that. Joe Biden did the opposite. He let the crime run wild. He let it get worse. Stop telling me what I would do. Stop treating me as if I was unfair. How was I unfair to Joe Biden? I would get on here and debunk lies about the guy. I debunked several lies y'all told about Biden and would lecture y'all on lying. Like, why are you going to lie just like Democrats? That's just going to make us just like them, and then nobody going to vote for Trump. Retards. I don't have to lie. Too much truth to tell. Don't need to make up lies. There's so much truth to tell about Democrats. Why would you need to lie? The truth is crazy enough. Hell, they want to fucking transition children, all this crazy shit. That ain't enough. You got to make some shit up. If I was unfair to Biden, why would I even waste my fucking time debunking lies about him? Why wouldn't I just join into the lies and go, fuck them? Because then I'm just like everybody else. I'm not going to act like you losers. It is what it is. If Trump is a pedophile, lock his ass up. But first, you're going to have to give me some evidence. Before I turn on Trump, you're going to have to give the evidence. Now, I know you want me to turn on Trump without the evidence, but it's not because of Epstein. It's because you don't like what Trump's doing. He's fucking you up. You don't like that. He's fucking up your agenda. He's fucking up everything you stand for. He's fucking your political party up, and you can't stand it. He's making a fool of you, and you can't stand it. I understand that. But I don't care. I don't have to play along with your delusions. I don't have to do that. And I'm not doing it. And where was your precious Joe Biden with that Epstein information? Why didn't they put that out? Trump was raping children, and they have the evidence. Well, then why didn't the Democrats show us the evidence and end Donald Trump's political career forever? Because they don't have it. The most obvious answer is right in front of your face, but you choose to ignore it. You're in the weeds. You're out in the weeds. The most obvious answer is right here on the concrete floor. Clear as day. And you're over there in the weeds fiddling around. Coming up with all kinds of shit. Voxter, he's out of his mind. He was going, have you seen the pictures? You know, Trump's got... Voxter said this shit. He goes, Trump's got a lot of pictures with his daughter. Like, what does that mean? He trying to make me feel like something's weird because a father got pictures with his daughter. Well, those pictures are very weird. What's weird about them? She's sitting on his lap. So? She's a little kid. Did you miss Joe Biden sniffing other people's children? See, here's the thing. If you got your own daughter in your lap, that's fine. There's nothing weird about that. If you were rubbing your own daughter's hair, you know, you see all these videos, Joe Biden rubbing these kids' heads and rubbing all over their hair and all that. If it's your kid and you're just patting their head, no big deal. But if it's some random man, and forget the pat in the head, the motherfucker was sniffing them. How many videos we got of Joe Biden sniffing children? It's insane. Sniffing your own kid would be fucking weird. Sniffing other people's kids, that's even weirder. Sniffing people's wives. Remember that? He sniffed that guy's wife. I don't know. But Trump's weird because he took a picture with his daughter. This man's got a lot of pictures of him and his daughter. He got more pictures with his daughter than his wife. First of all, go ahead and back that up for me. Go ahead and count them. Prove it. Because I don't even believe that. But let's say he did. What's weird about that? What's weird about a man having more pictures of him and his daughter than him and his wife? And here's another piece of the puzzle that your dumbass ain't putting together. Donald Trump has been married multiple times. That daughter was from a previous marriage. He's been around his daughter longer than he's been around Melania. You realize that, right? He had the daughter long before he met Melania. So why wouldn't there be more pictures of him? The fact that I'm supposed to believe that it's somehow weird that a father has pictures with his daughter, innocent, normal pictures. It's just, y'all have lost your fucking minds. I'm asking for evidence that Trump's a pedophile, and people go, "Have you seen the pictures of him and his daughter?" Like, what type of argument is this? And the same people, that's all I hear all day. You won't admit when you're wrong. What's funny about that is the people that say that to me the most never admit they're wrong. Ever. In any conversation that I've ever had with them, they have never just went, you're right, I'm wrong. It don't matter how much you prove them wrong. It don't matter how much evidence you lay there. None of it matters. It's all projection. That's another thing you realize about people. A lot of projection going on. A lot of assumptions and projection. Try doing this for the next week when you talk to people. Don't assume anything about them. Don't assume don't argue with your own head when you're talking to them. Don't be in your head having a separate conversation while a guy is sitting there trying to talk to you and you're in your head arguing with your mind. What did he mean by this? Did he mean this? Or did he mean that? No. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Just listen to what the guy had to say and respond to it. That's another thing people do to me. They'll say something, I'll respond to it, give them a detailed response, and they'll go, "You just ignored it." No, I didn't. You just didn't like the answer you were given. Too bad. That's too bad. Poor you. Poor little old you. And he need to quit worrying about America. He need to be worrying about Islam. He was like, left and right is an illusion. The left and the right is an illusion. Well, the Democrats and the Republicans are the same thing. That's weird, I don't remember the Republicans letting in 20 million illegal aliens. They were against that. It was the Democrats that did that. Maybe there is a difference when it comes to border security and immigration, huh? There is a difference between Democrats and Republicans. Hey, what about abortion? Republicans don't support it. Democrats support it. Maybe there is a difference in the left and the right. Maybe things like communism and capitalism, maybe these things exist. Maybe there are people that believe in these ideologies and they push them. Maybe all that is real. Now, I understand. Listen, I get it. That's a lot. That's complicated, right? That's complex. All these political ideologies and different ways of thinking and all these things. It's much more simpler to boil it down to there's the rich and the poor people, and the rich are out to get us, the fucking rich man. And all the politicians are all working together. And, well, if they're all working together, how come some of them want the border open and some of them want it closed? And when one side wins the election, they close the border, and when the other side wins it, they open it. If they're all exactly the same, then why do that? To trick us? I don't know, man. That's the thing about Alex Jones and David Icke. I like them. I like listening to them. And they say a lot of real shit. But they also say some shit that I just go, I don't know about all that. I mean, I love Alex Jones, but I've seen him lie to me. I've seen it. Now, I don't know if he was lying or he just was misinformed, but I've seen it. I've been listening to the show or watching the show, and he's talked about something, and I was like, no way. Not just no way, like I went and looked it up and debunked it. He played something on his show. Here's just one example. He played something on his show one time, And he was like, China has created a sun or something. And I was like, what? And he had a video, and he played this video. It was crazy. And then I went and looked up that video, and I found out what it really was, and it was nothing. It was not what he was talking about. It was not that. So you have to stop. You have to question everything, even people you like. Even a guy that's saying a lot of real shit, and you're like, this guy's telling it like it is. That doesn't mean that he's going to be right about everything. That doesn't mean he can't be wrong. He might say something and it sound really good. And 10 years from now, you might look back and go, that's so dumb. Why'd I ever believe that? That is life. That's just how it works. Because over that 10-year period, you're going to see things, you're going to observe things, and you're going to go, I just don't think that thought, those ideas, they just don't work. Like, the things I know now, I just can't believe that anymore. I can't believe the left and right are one and the same when I've seen so many examples of a clear difference between the two. And a lot of this boils down to Israel, where both parties support Israel. So then it's like, yep, they're the same. I just think that's a little silly, man. And once again, we get back to Israel and the hyperfixation. I think that's a problem. Stop hyperfixating on Israel. It doesn't mean you can't. It doesn't mean you gotta love Israel, start fanboying Israel. It just means relax with the obsession. Because it doesn't matter what topic you talk about, these motherfuckers bring Israel into it. Like, I seen Nick Fuentes talking about what Trump's doing in Washington, D.C., he's doing it for the Jews. I'm like, what? I don't know if he's joking around or what the fuck are you talking about, guy? Not everything is related to Jews and Israel. Now, that doesn't mean some things might not be. Hey, maybe Jeffrey Epstein's connected to Mossad. I don't know. Seems to be some evidence that he is. But that doesn't mean that you need to blame Israel for everything that ever happened in history and everything happening now. Calm down. That's crazy. Don't you realize how crazy that is? And then they try to tell me, well, I don't hate the Jews, I just hate Israel. Well, I scrolled down your Twitter timeline and I found out that was bullshit, because there's a lot of tweets. Sure seems like you hate Jews. Now, I don't care that you hate Jews. I don't give a shit. Just because I point out reality doesn't mean I care. Just because I point out the fact that, well, you seem to talk a lot of shit about Jews. You don't say the word Israel, you say Jews. You just say Jews. It's one thing to say, oh, I'm criticizing Israel, but when you're talking about, well, pornography was created by the Jews to get men addicted to it and all this and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, man, well, clearly you have a problem with the Jewish people, not just the country of Israel. You have a problem with Jews. You're allowed to have that. I don't care, but just, I'm real big on not being full of shit. People are confused about me. People say things to me, and I'm just like, dude, you're so clueless about the way my mind works and the way I think. If you actually think that about me, you're dumb. You really are dumb. If you really think that I give a shit that you don't like the Jews, you're retarded. I don't care. You know what I care about? The fact that you can't have an honest conversation with me. The fact that when I say you hate Jews, you just don't go, yeah, I do, so what? Now we have to have a whole 20-minute conversation where I have to slowly pull it out of you, where I have to show the audience, yeah, this guy clearly hates fucking Jews. Let me ask him a bunch of questions just to show you he don't like Jews. Because he can't be honest and just go, Smokey, I don't like the Jews. And then I could go, well, okay. And we could just continue our conversation. But we can't get past the lying. We can't just have an honest conversation. You hate the Jews. Just own it. Some people do, at least. My God. And you don't hear me arguing with him. There's nothing to argue about. He hates Jews. That's his opinion. Free country. Go ahead. No, what gets on my nerves is when you're trying to bullshit me and act like I don't know. Like I can't tell. Fuck off. You ain't fooling nobody with that bullshit. You hate Jews. October 7th was a perfect example of this. I always, when I argue with these people, I always make sure to bring up October 7th just so I can hear what they have to say about it. Because they're crying. They're having a nervous breakdown. There's a genocide happening. People are dying. Children and women are dying. They're being raped. Ah! Okay. That's just terrible. How you feel about October 7th? Well, these people were in an open air prison and they're just fighting back for their freedom. Okay. So you don't actually care about children being killed and women being killed. That's just some bullshit that you're using to try to play into my emotions because you know, as I've documented, they realize that you're a better person than them, so then they try to use that against you. And I've picked up on that. It's like I told Junie, before I blocked him. Me and you both know that I'm a better person than you. You know that because you try to use that against me. You'll try to play into my emotions. Oh, well, are you okay with them deporting this? Look at this crying child being deported. Look at this crying child. Because Junie knows I care about children. He knows I'm not an evil, bad person. So he tries to play into that. He doesn't seem to realize that when he does that, I go, oh, well, this guy thinks I'm better than him. He thinks I'm a better person. He thinks he can use these arguments to play on my emotions and win the argument and make me go, well, you're right. It's all a big fucking game. Because guys like this, they don't have empathy. They do not care about their fellow man. They do not care about their country. They're very selfish people. The only time they want to talk about children is when they can throw it in your fucking face and win an argument. Any other time, fuck the children. Hell with them. Epstein's a perfect example of it. I've been trying to talk to these people about Jeffrey Epstein for years. Crickets. They didn't want to talk about it. Conspiracy theory. You're a crazy person. You're a whack job for believing that stuff. The moment they saw an opportunity to use it against Trump, jumped right on it. Trust me, I know exactly what I'm talking about because I've done my homework on you people. I've watched you. I've observed you. I know you like the back of my hand. You ain't fooling me. You fool everybody else. Go ahead and try, but you ain't gonna fool me. So quit trying. You can just go ahead and be honest with me. You can just go ahead and tell me how you really feel. You don't have to spend all this time being full of shit when you talk to me. And I'd appreciate it if you'd stop being so full of shit because it's a waste of both of our time. Just be honest. I already know you're an evil cocksucker. Own it. It's like the abortion shit. Just say you don't care about dead babies. Just say you don't care. When I say it's a baby, you're supposed to say, I know, I don't care. And then I'll go, well, damn, that's pretty fucked up. But I don't really have an argument to counter what you just said. I mean, you don't care. But they don't do that. It's not a baby. It's not a human. Well, fuck, we can argue with that for 30 minutes because clearly it is. So, I mean, if you want to make a fool of yourself sitting here in front of an audience trying to convince everybody that a baby inside a woman's stomach isn't a human being, go ahead, I guess. You're just making a fool of yourself. When you could just look evil, you'd rather, which I guess it does make sense, you'd rather look like a fucking retard than evil. I get that. I'll look retarded before I look evil. Makes sense. They know it's evil. They know it's wrong. If they didn't think it was wrong, that's the crazy thing about these people. They support abortion, but they know it's wrong. They know it's fucked up. I've debated enough on them. I just know. I mean, I debate them. I know what questions to ask, and I know how to pull it out of them. They know how evil and fucked up it is. If they thought it was actually good, then they would go, yeah, it's a baby, but I don't care. Women's rights matter more. And that would be the end of the argument. What is there to argue about? This guy doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care that you call him evil. He knows it's a baby. He doesn't give a shit. Argument over. We're done here. But because you know it's evil, you know it's wrong, and you can't admit it, and that's where I get you. That's where I make a fool of you. You allow me to do that to you because you won't be honest. And that's your problem, not mine. Do this to yourself. And then people get so mad they don't want to come back in the Discord, and then they make all these excuses. Well, you had somebody there, other people join the conversation. The idea of an open conversation where other people can join, God forbid. And because everybody agrees with me in the conversation because I'm fucking right, not because they're fanboys, not because they're yes men, because I'm right. Why wouldn't you agree with me? I'm right. It'd be like saying the sky's blue. What are you supposed to argue it's not? Well, if you agree with Smokey that the sky's blue, it makes you a fanboy. That's dumb logic. Doesn't make sense. Retarded. That's how you guys cope with being wrong. You're wrong. Everybody agrees that you're wrong. Everybody gives you shit. So you have to cope and pretend they're only doing it to please me. Even though these same people argue with me too. Crazy. Mind-boggling. Yeah, fucking Barr was like, I've heard that argument for years. Babies can't feel pain. I had somebody tell me a 1-year-old can't feel pain. I had somebody tell me a 6-month-old. I've heard it all. I've heard all this dumb fucking bullshit. This is insane. And God knows what they'll cry about today. God knows what I'll wake up to later. Just fucking God. But I understand it. Like the DC shit, I totally understand why they're acting like this. You have to understand, if Donald Trump does what he wants to do, he will succeed. They will look stupid. If you just understand that, everything makes sense that they're doing. You just have to understand that. Donald Trump is right. If he does it, he will succeed. They will look stupid. They will lose votes. That is what they're scared of right now. If Donald Trump cleans up the crime problem in Washington, D.C., and people can walk the streets and feel safe, why wouldn't they support Trump? Why would they want to go back to the crime-ridden madness? They won't. Look at El Salvador. Look how popular that guy is. When you take power and you do good things and you solve problems, you win. That's the secret. What a concept. That's how you win elections. That's how you gain political power. You do what you say you're going to do. Oh my God. And we see, just like in El Salvador, where a guy wins, does what needs to be done, and yes, it's strict, and yes, it's kind of harsh, and yes, it may seem a little crazy, but the way those people were living was crazy. They were ruled over by gangs and shit. They were in hell. Drastic times call for drastic measures. When you got gangs ruling your country and terrorizing communities, well, who do you think can solve that problem? Some weak beta male or a guy that's kind of a dictator. You understand? A guy that kind of got a little bit of dictator energy coming off of him. Now, if you didn't want a dictator, you should have thought about that before you let crime go out of control, before you opened up our border. You see what I mean? You don't think long term about your behavior. You do all this shit, fuck everything up, and then when it comes time to pay a price for it, you get mad, you get upset. Like, what the fuck's happening? Well, the bill comes due at some point, motherfucker. You got Donald Trump as your president again because you keep gaslighting everybody about real problems. People's sick of it. People's fucking tired of that shit. And I know you think you're going to win the midterms. You're so hopeful. Well, here I am to burst the bubble. You have no chance in the midterms. You had no chance in the 2024 election. You argued with me for months. I was right about that. I'm telling you right now, as of right now, you're going to get dominated in the midterms. It's going to be bad. Why? Because you will not adapt. You will not apologize to the country. You will not stop your bullshit. And people's tired of it. And the more Trump succeeds, and the more he proves you wrong, the worse it gets for you. And you won't stop. So you keep coming on TV every day and on social media saying stupid bullshit, and then none of that stupid bullshit ever happens, and then everybody goes, oh, wrong again. They panicked and were wrong again. It's been happening all year. You panic, nothing happens, then you panic again, nothing fucking happens. Now, here's the reality. Every time you panic and nothing happens, you lose voters. Just realize that. At least one person sees that and goes, what the fuck? And then they start looking into you, and then they find out everything about you, all the lies. You only got to see it one time, and when you see it one time, you're going to start questioning everything you see. It only takes one time for somebody to lie to you, and there's different types of lies. You know, there's kind of just petty lies, silly lies. They don't really harm anybody. They don't really mean anything. And then there's serious lies that cause damage, cause problems, get people killed. Those are the lies that matters. Don't get focused on silly lies. Don't worry about somebody going, well, I was late for work because I overslept, you know. No, he was fucking his girlfriend. That's why he was really late. That's not a big deal. That's a lie, but nothing to be too concerned about that lie. It's not hurting anybody really. But when somebody comes out and lies about our border, and then we have illegals flooding into our country, and then people get raped and murdered, and women get hit in the head with bricks and murdered, that's a serious lie. Those are the lies I care about. I don't care about Donald Trump's petty lies where he goes, we sent $10 billion to Ukraine. And then they go, fact check. We sent $9.5 billion. He was off by 500,000. Liar. Liar. You think I'm fucking joking with you? That's the shit they say about Trump. That's the shit they do. That's the lies they say. It's so funny when you ask a liberal, they go, Trump lies all the time. Just go, name one. And watch them struggle. They struggle to name one. It's funny. It shocked me the first time I did it. I really couldn't believe that he couldn't name one. Parr couldn't name one lie that Trump told. And every day, Parr will tell you, Trump lies all the time. But when put on the spot to name one lie, couldn't name one. And then they start getting silly. Well, he told us to inject bleach. No, he didn't. Remember when me and Parr were arguing? He goes, Trump told us to inject bleach. And I said, no, he didn't. And he wanted to argue. And then I played the entire press conference, and we saw that Trump never said that. Just know that if you come into my stream and lie to me about a video, I will play the entire video right there on the stream so we can watch it ourselves and see you're full of shit. Just know that about me. I don't care. I will pull it up and we'll all just sit there for an hour and watch it. And then at the end of it, I'll go, now, where was the part where he said that shit you said? Because I didn't see that part. Well, we know what he meant. He might have not have said those words specifically, but we know what he meant. We know what he was trying to imply. Once again, assumptions in your own mind, in the thoughts, thinking about shit that ain't even happening. Make believe, the land. Mr. Rogers used to take us to the land. Remember Mr. Rogers? Used to take us to the land of make believe. The little trolley would come around and it would stop. And then it would take us to the land of make believe. And we had the king. What was his name? I can't remember their names, but the king and all the people in the land of make believe. It was nice there, but it wasn't real. There wasn't a king. It was a puppet. It wasn't real. It was fun. It was exciting, but not real. It's fantasy. And that's where a lot of you all spend your lives in the land of make believe. Not only do you spend it, you make up stuff. You make up stuff about your own life. You make up stuff about yourself. You people are really insane. You really are. You'll sit in your car at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and cry and make some video about how you're oppressed and I have to go to work. And after I get done working, I have to pay all my bills. And after I pay all my bills, I have no money left over. That's a problem. Let's see your bills. Let's actually look at the bills and look at the bank account and look at what you're spending money on. And I bet you I could find a bunch of shit that you don't need. You may want it, but you don't need it. And that's why you're broke. If you can buy things you don't need just because you want them, you are not as broke as you're pretending to be. So cut it out with the pity party and just stop buying that shit. It's so simple. Quit the bullshit. All I do is work and I have no money. I never have money. I can barely afford to eat. I can't. There's no fucking way, bro. There's just no. I make $15.65 an hour. I stopped eating out, took that laptop back, cut my phone off, cut a bunch of unnecessary bullshit spending out of my life, and I ain't been hungry since. That's all bullshit. That you say to cope with the fact that you're a fucking mess and you blow your money. And it's nobody's fault but yours. It's not the boss at work's fault. It's not the CEO. It's not the owner of the company. It's not Elon Musk. It ain't Donald Trump. It ain't well, it is Joe Biden. He made things a little bit more expensive. And that doesn't help. See, think about it, not only do you have bad spending habits and you take no accountability, but you vote like a retard too. So you make your problem even worse. The way you want to live your life is not sustainable to Democrat rule. You realize that, right? It's not sustainable. Like, you want to work and have your money, and you want your rent to be cheap and your bills to be cheap and the gas to be cheap and the food to be cheap. This is all stuff that Trump was pushing for. But you're going to vote Democrats because they're going to give you a handout. Have you noticed all those handouts, you're still broke and you're still hungry and you still got to pay the rent? Have you noticed all the handouts ain't helping? That's just kind of getting worse. It's getting more expensive. It's just, maybe the handouts are a bad idea. I know it's a bad idea I know that's a bad idea. People would be better off if they had to fend for themselves. If they had to figure out how to buy their own food, they would. And they'd become better people if they didn't have the government. It's okay to have a helping hand. It's okay to help people out, but it's not okay to force people to help people out. That's not okay. It's not okay to say, hey, I'm going to use the power of the government to take your money and give it to someone else. That's fucked up. You know, I'd be making over $600 a week if they got rid of that income tax, but you don't ever hear a Democrat talking about doing that. They care so much about us. These poor people are struggling. They need more money. They need a raise at work. Well, you could give me a raise right now, Democrat. You could get rid of the income tax, and I would go from $500 a week to over $600 a week. That's what you could do for me. That's the raise you could give me right now, but you won't. Why? Because you don't give a shit about me. You don't give a shit about poor people. You don't give a shit about our wages. You don't give a shit about none of that. That's just shit you say to us to get elected. And when it comes to raising the minimum wage, that doesn't hurt Walmart. That doesn't hurt big corporations. That hurts little, small businesses. And when little, small businesses go out of business, who does that help? Big corporations. But you're too dumb to realize that. You think you're helping people. If we raise the minimum wage, we're helping. No, you're not. You're actually helping the large corporations that you claim to hate. But you're too stupid to realize that. Because the large corporation can afford to pay a higher minimum wage. Most of them already pay above minimum wage anyway. But the small business that's barely getting by can afford to do it. So when you push that on them and you force them to do it, well, they just got to shut the business down. Well, Walmart ain't shutting the doors over a minimum wage hike. Walmart ain't going to shut their doors. I know. I used to think just like y'all. I used to be just like you. Raise the minimum wage. But it's dumb. Because I realize now, because I listened to people who knew what they were talking about, and they debunked all that leftist shit. And they told me the truth, the reality of economics. And I listened to them, and it made sense. It just makes sense, the things they say. It just makes total sense. Well, we're going to tax all the billionaires. Well, if you do that, yeah, that sounds great. I get it. But if you do that, all the billionaires, they're just going to move. They'll just go somewhere else, and they won't live here no more. Then what? You think it's a good thing if all the rich people leave? Do you think that's good? In your crazed delusions? Yeah, that's really good. Just get rid of all the rich people. Hey, that job you have, who gave that to you, rich person? Rich person started a business and gave you a job and gives you an opportunity to make some money so you can have a life too. And you hate them. You hate them for it. Why do you hate them? Because they won't pay you more? They pay you what they can pay you based on their fucking budget. They have a budget too. And they have an amount that they can pay you. And you agreed to that wage, by the way, when you took the job. And then you complain about it. Then why'd you take the job in the first place? People going, I can't live off minimum wage. Then why take a minimum wage job? There's plenty of jobs that pay like $15 an hour. Just go take one of them. You don't need a degree or nothing. It's just a regular job. Pays 15 plus. Crazy. Anyway, I gotta go to bed. Gotta get that sleep. The minimum wage should not go up if corporations' profits go up. That's stupid. That is such a dumb way to look at things. Because all corporations are different. All businesses are different. By the way, every business is not a corporation. Now, if you were The government shouldn't get involved in any of the wages and stuff because it doesn't work. It's a bad idea, and it's well documented that it's a bad idea. But if you were going to say to me, well, let's raise the minimum wage for big corporations and big businesses, and we'll leave it alone for small businesses. Well, then maybe that makes a little sense to me. But you all want to do this big, just blanket fucking wage hike, and it doesn't work. It cost over 20,000 fast food jobs in California when they did that. You're putting people out of work. That's all you're doing. You're not helping anybody. And you're putting businesses out of business too. There's tons of businesses they can't afford to do that because they're small businesses, and they hire people, and those people lose their jobs. That's all you're doing. You're not helping people. Anytime they raise the minimum wage and shit like that in these states, they lose thousands of jobs. Thousands of businesses shut down. It's just the way it is. It's documented. It's not something to debate. It's just a fact. You shouldn't be worried about the minimum fucking wage, by the way. You should, I mean, what? That's for teenagers, bro. That's for like an entry-level job or something somewhere. Most places don't even pay that. They pay way above minimum wage. I make $15.65 starting out at my job. They don't pay minimum fucking wage. You know why? Because nobody's going to do that job for minimum wage. It's too much you got to do. I'm not doing that for $7.25 an hour. What the fuck? I'll go do something else. When you grow up, you realize that. You realize you don't need the government to do these things. You realize that jobs pay what they pay based on what people will accept. So when you try to do a minimum wage job, most people won't apply for it. So you have to raise your wages to get workers. This is the way it is. And that's just the way it goes. You don't need the government to get involved at all. In fact, the more the government gets involved, the worse everything gets. Haven't you realized that yet? The government has a role and it has things it needs to do, but y'all want the government just to be involved in every aspect of our life, and it's a bad idea. Stop pushing for that shit. Let the government, defend our border and run the military and deal with other countries and things like that. And let business run business. Let the business world be the business world, and let the government be the government. We don't need the government coming over here and going, you need to pay your workers more. Well, the workers work here, and they accepted the wage, and that's between the boss and the workers. And if the workers don't like it, they can quit. They can quit, walk out, go get another job. That's the beauty of freedom. That's the beauty of having all kinds of jobs. And you can just leave and go somewhere else. You don't have to put up with some low wage. If you're making minimum wage, I don't know what's wrong with you. You need to be, because, McDonald's is paying like $12 an hour. You know what I mean? Why are you making minimum wage? What are you doing? Why don't you just quit and go flip burgers? Truth be told, a lot of people that talk about the minimum wage, they don't make a minimum wage, and they just talk out of their ass about it. Because there's tons of jobs that are paying $15 an hour to start out. So if you can't find one of them, you ain't trying. You just ain't trying. Just making excuses. Because you don't want to work at the end of the day. You motherfuckers don't want to work. You don't. Nobody does. If you could just sit at home all day, you would. But, I can't pay your bills that way. When are you going to grow up and accept that you have to go to work? It's the way it is. You're just going to accept it. When are you going to be grateful that you have a job? I miss people that were grateful to have jobs. I miss normal people. What happened to all of them? Now all people do is bitch about their job. Quit then. You know you can quit, right? Well, then how am I going to pay my bills? Well, then I guess you can't quit. Then shut up and just go to work. And then you go over their budget and they got like a $1,000 car payment. They got, they're buying drugs. They got fucking Funko Pop collection or some shit. And you're like, well, there's your money right there. There's where it's going. You're buying Funko Pops. You know how many dumb motherfuckers got a collection of Funko Pops and they cry about how they don't make enough money at their job, but they got a whole Funko Pop collection? Think about how dumb it is. All I do is work, and I work. I seen a guy. He said he made $20 an hour. And after he paid all his bills every month, he had no money left over. What are your bills, man? I guarantee if you looked at his bills, you'd find a bunch of shit he don't need. There'd be some crazy car payment for some car. He should have just went out and bought a used car, right? But he went out and bought a new car. He got it all financed. He got some crazy car payment he's got to pay. That's why these people are so broke, because they got all these things. They won't bite the bullet and get rid of them. They won't just go, fuck this. I'm not having this shit no more. I'm getting rid of it. I've seen people complain about fucking Netflix. I mean, people complain about everything. Netflix rose their prices. It's just fucking... Well, then cancel Netflix. People act like Netflix is a necessity or something. People act like they have to have streaming services or something. YouTube is free. I watch YouTube more than anything, so that's free. You know how much free content there is to watch? You know that pretty much any TV show or movie you can find online for free if you really wanted to? What are you complaining about? Well, it's just like cable. It is nothing like cable. Cable was like $100 a month to get a bunch of channels. Most of them suck. Now, you can pay $25 a month and get Netflix, tons of stuff to watch, and just pay your $25 a month. Well, no. You have to get all the streaming services so you can see everything. First of all, you don't have time to watch all that shit. There's too much shit to watch. There's too much shit on every streaming service. There's too much shit. So there's no way you got enough time to watch all of them. You don't need all of them. That's crazy. Some guy was on Twitter to act like he needed all of them. He needed Hulu. He needed every streaming service. And he said if you buy every streaming service, it costs more than cable. Buddy, you're not supposed to buy every streaming service. You're supposed to buy the streaming service that has shit on it that you actually want to watch. And then when that season ends, or you watch the show or the movie, whatever, you cancel it. You don't keep paying for it because there's nothing else you want to watch. So you cancel it, and then when the new season comes out, you can come back and buy it again. You don't have to have all the streaming service. It's insane. The way people talk, the things they say don't even make sense. You used to have to buy cable, and you had all these channels, and you didn't watch any of them. You only watched a few of them, but they made you buy them all, right? Now, you can just spend like $20 a month. You get a streaming service. It's loaded with stuff to watch. It's got so much shit on it, you ain't even got time for all that. YouTube is free, by the way. Free. Pluto TV. There's all kinds of shit that's free. And the streaming services, they ain't even that expensive. What y'all crying about? You don't know how good you got it. You really don't know how good you got it. You're spoiled brats. And I'm tired. If I got to watch another video of you sitting in your car, tears running down your face, crying because you had to go to work. I had to work today. Oh. Don't worry, I'll be like that later when I wake up and go, oh, I stayed up too late. Oh, no. But then I'll just suck it up, take a shower, and go to fucking work. And an hour later, I won't even care. I'll be like, oh, I'm at work getting paid. Let's knock this shift out, go home. What's the big deal? I'll be listening to a podcast the whole time. The horror. This is just like slavery. It is just like slavery. I remember the other day I was at work and the boss just started hitting me with a whip. I was like, ah! He's like, work faster, boy. And he started whipping me with a whip. And I was like, damn, this is just like slavery. I remember during slavery, they were out in the fields and listening to podcasts on their computer that they had in their pocket. And they was eating some chips. And they was drinking a soda. And they were working. Oh, man. Slavery is just like work. It's the same thing. Totally the same thing. Remember during slavery, you could go outside and take 5 minutes and hit the vape or smoke a cigarette or something? Remember during slavery, that was a common thing you heard about? When the historians talk about slavery, they used to let the slaves go have smoke breaks and shit. Remember that? And the slaves used to have a 30-minute lunch and they could go get something to eat. Or remember that? Remember how the slaves could go in the bathroom and pretend to be in the bathroom taking a shit, but they're really just sitting in there playing on their phone? Remember that? I know what the fuck you all are doing at work. You ain't working hard enough to be crying. That's for damn sure. I tell you that right now. You motherfuckers don't work hard enough to cry. What the fuck? You'll be working with somebody, he'll disappear for like an hour. You'll be like, where'd he go? He's in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom playing on the phone. He's got a computer in his pocket. You know, I've worked jobs when we didn't have cell phones. We just had to listen to the FM radio. You don't know how good you got it. Crying like a bitch. Jesus. Imagine it. Crying about working in the air conditioning. You're working in the air conditioning. What about people got to work outside? Fucking 90 degrees. And you're in the air conditioning, listening to a podcast, eating and drinking, and you're a slave. Think about that. What a mindset to have. What a way to think about the job. Or that Andrew, I'm in the Matrix. Yeah, you ain't in no damn Matrix. If motherfuckers didn't get up and go to the Matrix and do their job, what would you do? When you pulled into the drive-thru to get your chicken sandwich and nobody was there to make it, what would you do, you little bitch? As you tell everybody else, you're a slave to the Matrix. You're welcome for being a slave to the Matrix. You're welcome for getting up, being a responsible person, and doing something. You're welcome. While you sit around and pretend like you're Neo. You fucking fag. Good Lord. You ain't in no fucking Matrix. You're just psyop. They want, I've heard this my whole life. They want good, obedient workers. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. I don't believe that anymore. I look around. And I see everybody being psyoped into not working hard, not working at all. That's what I see. That's what's being pushed on the masses is laziness. It ain't work hard, be a good worker. It's be a lazy fuck. That's what it is. Be a lazy, degenerate fuck. That's the message that's pushed on the public by the media every fucking day. So you keep on playing pretend in fantasy land where they're telling us they want obedient workers. No, they don't. No, they don't. If they did, they wouldn't be pushing this message on the public to be a lazy fuck and cry about working, which is the message they push on us every day. You're a slave, you're in the matrix, all this shit. It's all to condition you for whatever reason. I don't know why they want to make us all not work and be lazy. I don't know what the fuck that's all about, but that's clearly what they want. But you keep believing the other thing. I used to believe it too. You keep believing they want us all to be obedient workers and they want us all to work hard. I don't buy that. And I think I figured out why in the brief few seconds. It's because if I work hard and I take care of myself, I don't need them. If I'm a lazy, degenerate fuck, I need them to take care of me. That's what it is. They want us all to be dependent on them. So if you're putting out a message of get up, suck it up, go to work, quit being a bitch, quit crying because you don't have a yacht and because you're not rich, and be grateful that you have a job and you can take care of yourself and you don't have to beg the government to do it, that ain't the message they want. And you're going to figure that out one day. You're going to wake up and realize that being told not to work hard and all this is a psyop to make you a loser so you depend on them. So you're just like all these other people crying like a bitch, begging the government to save them. When you have a job and you make your own money, it doesn't matter if they cut the food stamps. It doesn't matter if they say no soda because you don't get food stamps and you don't need it and it doesn't matter. But when it matters, when you don't have a job because you've been conditioned that working's for losers, well, then you need all that help. Suddenly, all that free money and stuff is so important to you. Break the conditioning and just get a job. Go to work, shut the fuck up, sitting in your car, having a breakdown. Be grateful. And if you want more money, when you get off work tonight, go back to work. Go to another job or start a business. Do something. Because that's the only way you're going to get more money. You ain't going to get more money crying. And you ain't going to get more money telling Elon to give you his money. He ain't giving you his money. The government ain't going to give it to you either. Shut up with this shit. Get out of your fucking car and get back into the job and do your job. And shut the fuck up. And be happy at work, too. Be happy while you're there. Tired of looking at you miserable fucks, all miserable. Oh, God, why not gonna be here? It's either here or on the side of the road living in a tent. Make a choice. Yeah, I guess you could go do fentanyl and lay on the sidewalk all day. I mean, that's one option, I guess. And then you can beg the government to save you, which is exactly what they fucking want. No, Smokey, they want good, obedient workers. They want to convince us to be workers. Yeah. That's what it is. They want us to work hard. That could have fooled me. I mean, if you go to work and you actually do your job, people think you're crazy. Oh God, you're actually here working? Oh my God. Parr said that yesterday. He was like, you have to work the entire shift. Number one, that's not true. Number two, that's what you're supposed to do. What the fuck? What? You have to work the whole shift. Well, that's what we're supposed to do at work. You're supposed to work the shift. You're not supposed to like work half the shift and then go lollygag for the rest of it. You're supposed to work. That's what work is supposed to be. You're supposed to work. Like someone's paying you money to do your job. And if you don't do your job, you don't get money because the company makes money off your work. Like you do stuff and your work causes the company to make money, and then they take some of that money and give it to you. You understand? So if you really wanted to make more money at your job, you would get really good at your job to where you're undeniable, to where they'd want to pay you more. And they'd be able to pay you more because their profits would go up. But you expect people to be different than you. See, you would never do that. You would never take less money for anything. If you had a business, you would do whatever it took to make as much as you could. That doesn't mean you wouldn't pay people a decent wage or whatever, but you ain't going to pay people $40, $50 an hour if you can't afford to do that. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to pay someone a wage that allows you to pay them, get the job done, and allow you to make a profit. Because if you're not making a profit, what the fuck are you even doing? Why'd you even start a business? But for some reason, they expect that the business owner should have as much money as the guy he employs. That doesn't even make sense. The whole reason you're going and working for this guy is he has more money than you, and that allows him to start a business that gives you a job. Thank God for him. Thank God that this man started a business that I can work at and get paid. If it wasn't for him, I'd have to start my own damn business. And it seems pretty hard. Seems like a lot of work. I don't know if I want to do all that. I'd rather just go. He did all the hard work for me, and now all I got to do is come in, be given some tasks to complete, and then get my money and go home. Simple life. Not everybody wants to live a complex, complicated life where they got to run a business and they got to create a business and they got to invent shit or whatever the fuck. No, some people just want to go to work, get paid, and go home. And they're content and they're happy. And you better be thankful they are. You better be thankful there's tons of people that want to go to work, make their money, and go home. Because that's what makes the world go round. If those people didn't exist, society would collapse. You would go to get your coffee at Starbucks. There'd be no blue-haired liberal there to serve you. You go to Chick-fil-A, there'd be nobody with a chicken sandwich. Everything would just be closed. You would go to the store to buy groceries. The shelf would be empty. There'd be nothing to put on the shelf because there's no guy driving the truck with all the products on it. All these people that you look down on, that you think you're better than, if they decided tomorrow not to go to work, your life would fall completely apart. So in closing, show a little appreciation to normal people who work normal jobs. Without them, we can live without a lot of people and a lot of jobs. There's a lot of jobs that if they disappeared off the face of the earth tomorrow, life would go on, no big deal. But there are other jobs that if they just disappeared tomorrow, you would notice immediately. Oh, you're going to notice when you go to that store and there's no food in there. You're going to notice when you go buy McDonald's or whatever, nobody's there. There's nobody at the drive-thru. Y'all love to shit on these people that work fast food, but you go eat at these places. You go eat at restaurants. You love to shit on all these people. Why didn't they go to college like me and become... Thank God that they're here to serve you. Why don't you be appreciated of it? It's miserable. It's a miserable attitude to have. It's terrible. Don't you realize you're terrible human beings? You're terrible people. That's the sign of someone's character. Someone that looks down on like a waiter, things like that. Never a good person. People that argue with people that drive through all that bullshit. Anytime you encounter a person like that, always a piece of shit. Who does that? Argue with the cashier, argue with the drive-through guy, or fucking, all this shit you see people do. As if you even have to argue with these people anyway. Their job is literally just to give you whatever you want. So they're just going to do that. So just stop arguing. You come in with your sandwich, they fucked it up, just give it to them and say, hey, take this off, whatever, and they'll just make you a new one. You don't have to throw a tantrum. They literally don't care. They just want to give you the sandwich and get you to leave. They don't give a shit about having a debate with you about it. People will come in, they'll throw some people they throw the sandwich. They're pissed off. They're all angry and shit. Imagine these people. They get out of their car, the sandwich is fucked up, or the fries are cold, they're angry, they get out of the car, they go inside, they cause a scene, they start throwing shit, fucking screaming at everybody. Why? The dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Just fucking get a new sandwich. I have never once went into an establishment and had a guy argue with me about fixing the sandwich. It's never happened. But you look down on these people, you think you're better than them. Why do they got to work here? Because they're losers. One of these days, these people are all going to get sick of you motherfuckers, and they're going to stop showing up for work. I can't wait. So everybody just says, fuck it. Then what are you going to do? Maybe the YouTubers will save us. The accountants will save us. All the frivolous office jobs where people sit and press keys on a keyboard all day and pretend they're just as important as a firefighter or a cop or a goddamn, doctor or something. No, we could live without a lot of you guys. We could live without your jobs. We need a doctor. We need somebody at that drive-thru. We need somebody. Everybody go to the grocery store. We need somebody there. We need a truck driver to bring the products. During COVID, these were called essential jobs. Essential. You know what that means? It means without these essential jobs, society would collapse. Without the essential people. The essential people that went out and risked their life. When you went to order your little DoorDash meal later today, your overpriced DoorDash meal, and that guy brings it over, you'll probably think, what a loser, he's doing DoorDash. Instead of going, thank God this guy's doing DoorDash, he brought me my food, thank God. Good for him. Thank God he's out there working, he brings me my shit, he got some money, I got my food, everybody wins. Especially DoorDash, because they took most of the money. Because DoorDash pays people like shit. I don't even know why people do DoorDash, quite frankly. I mean, I've dated a few girls that did DoorDash, and I've seen, some of the stuff that comes through, some of the offers they get. It is terrible. I don't even know why you would take some of this, like $2 to go 5 miles or whatever. What the fuck is this? DoorDash is probably the worst food delivery app to work for. They don't pay nothing. At least Instacart, you make like $30 an order or something if you want. You pick the right orders. See, that's the problem these companies face, like DoorDash, for example. They don't pay their workers enough. They ain't paying enough. So eventually, something's got to give, because people's going to eventually say, fuck this. I'm not doing this, And they're going to get different jobs. And then what does DoorDash do? Well, robots, drones. That's what they're going to do. They're going to have drones drop the food. The food will come flying down out of the sky. Because they're not going to pay you more. They're not going to do that. DoorDash is like being a waiter. It's all based on tips. It's all, if you get a bunch of people tipping good, you make a lot of money. But if everybody tips like shit, you make no money. That's just not a good. That's like being a streamer in a way. It's just you're counting on donations to come, and it's just like. And some days you might make a couple $100 in an hour, but there's a lot of days you make nothing. And that's DoorDash and that's streaming. It's all the same. Anytime you got to rely on generosity, you're in for you're in for a bad day if you're counting on people's generosity to save you. Because it's not always going to come. It can show up, but it ain't going to show up every fucking day. You ain't going to get a good tipper every day. Every order got a good tip. It ain't going to happen. You're going to have a lot of bad days because you're counting on generosity. You're counting on the kindness of fellow human beings. And that's the worst thing you could do. Anyway, I'm going to bed. I got to work. I'll be on